2020 was a funny year, and I know that a lot of you have been working from home too for the last few months. It's definitely been weird for me, starting a new job and meeting new people all behind a screen. So today I'm taking you along with me for a day in the life while working from home as a brand ambassador at Newton Europe. So I start off my day at 8 in the morning. I wake up, I stretch, and I try my best to resist the urge to go on my phone, because I know that as soon as I start, I'll be scrolling right up until 9 rolls around. The first thing I do is put on my morning coffee. I've been really enjoying the Taylor's coffee at the moment, and I love the sound of the coffee brewing in the morning. And while it's brewing, I brush my teeth and wash my face. I'm a firm believer in brushing my teeth before having breakfast. I know that lots of people say that breakfast tastes wrong if they've brushed their teeth first, but to me breakfast tastes wrong if I haven't brushed my teeth. Then I pour myself a bowl of cereal, which I eat while getting on with the rest of my morning routine. I put on my makeup, usually something very light and natural. I feel like even though I'm behind the camera, and other people probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference, I feel more confident when I'm wearing it. Then I get dressed. Since I'm working from home at the moment, the dress code is pretty casual. Today I'm wearing a burgundy mock neck top and black jeans on the bottom. I also put on some fun earrings that match my outfit. Then I draw the blinds. Letting the light in is always my favourite part of the morning and makes me feel energised and ready for the day. I always start off my workday by checking my emails. I try to address everything in my inbox in the morning, sending quick replies when I'm able to, filing anything that's done into the relevant folders, and flagging anything that requires action, and adding those tasks onto my task list. In my journal, which I always keep next to me, I write down my daily tasks and my main goals for the day. This helps me know what my priorities are that day and helps me stay really focused. If it's a Monday morning, we'll start the week off with a kick-off meeting where we go around the group and everyone will say what their tasks and goals are for the week. It's a great way to catch up with colleagues after the weekend and say hi before the work starts, as well as being able to flag to anyone if we need their help during the week. So I have a bit of time this morning before my first few meetings, so I thought I'd sit down and chat you through sort of what a brand ambassador is, what my role includes, and also a little bit about the company Newton Europe. So I mentioned a few of these things in my last video, but I will just quickly run through them in case you haven't watched it. I'm currently working as a brand ambassador for a consultancy company called Newton Europe. Newton is quite unique in the fact that it specialises in operations consultancy. I'm actually also an offer holder to become a consultant in January 2021. When I first received my offer, my start date was meant to be in October this year, but because of the pandemic and everything that's happened, my start date got postponed to January. So I had this gap between finishing university in the summer and starting as a consultant, so Newton very kindly offered me a temporary placement to work as a brand ambassador. So what is a brand ambassador? Well, Newton has historically used brand ambassadors during its milk round period to support graduate recruitment. Milk round is a time when companies would go to universities to try and attract and recruit students to apply for their graduate jobs. So this is usually during first term of the academic year, so from, let's say, July, September time until about March even. Sometimes it can be quite long, sometimes it can be quite short, depending on sort of how popular the company is. During the milk round period, it's a huge influx of workload, so Newton has historically always hired brand ambassadors to help with this period, and brand ambassadors tend to be people who hold offers in the company already, but have a large gap between finishing university and their start date. Either that, or they're students who applied in their penultimate year and have an offer and want to work over the summer before their final year or something like that. Brand ambassadors are really useful to the graduate recruitment process because we've just gone through the process ourselves, so we are uniquely able to sort of answer the questions that students might have, and also help improve the graduate recruitment process in a way that we would have found useful when we applied.
It's also worth mentioning that as of this year, Newton has been recruiting brand ambassadors in other departments as well, other than graduate recruitment, to support other kind of internal functions in the company. So whether that's finance or HR or marketing, there have been a few brand ambassadors scattered around, but because graduate recruitment is where historically a lot of brand ambassadors have been, and there's a huge bulk of the workload, that's where most of the brand ambassadors are. I was placed in graduate recruitment alongside a large group of brand ambassadors. Personally, I worked on the attraction side of things, so that included virtual presentation evenings and live streams and lots of events to kind of draw students in, opposed to the selection side of things, which include the interviews, the selection days, assessment centres, and those sort of processes. So within attraction, I work specifically on organising the virtual presentation evenings. So it's quite common for companies to go to universities and hold a sort of flagship evening event, which is a presentation, networking as well, and things like that.
I also just wanted to jump in on this very attractive freeze frame and say that I've got a video coming up very soon, which is a vlog from back in the first term of my final year, where I'm actually going to these events at other companies as part of trying to find a job, so stay tuned for that.
Because of the pandemic, a lot of companies had to adapt the way they do these evenings to work on an online setting. So that's sort of what I was in charge of, creating a lot of the content for these events and sorting out the logistics, the planning of them, and also then the execution of them. So I ended up hosting the events on Zoom. So that was a big part of my ownership area as a brand ambassador. I also organised the society sponsorships. So it's quite common for companies to sponsor a university society, especially societies that have a direct relevance to the company and the industry that the company is working in. So for example, Newton sponsors a lot of consultancy societies because that's the work that we do. There's also a big drive behind increasing diversity in the company. So we've been sponsoring a lot of sort of women in business type societies, as well as BAME societies and LGBT societies. So that's been really fun to work with and talk to a lot of students. So it's been a lot of fun talking to a lot of students and organising these sponsorship contracts, organising sponsored events and live streams and workshops, and lots of ways in which Newton can support these student groups. As the walk around process sort of went on, the attraction events started winding down, and the workload was more focused on the selection side. So my ownership area changed a little bit from working mostly in graduate recruitment to working in employer brand. And it's with employer brand that I'm making this video to tell you a little bit more about kind of the behind the scenes of working with Newton. So I think that pretty much summarises my role at the moment. And I will be chatting with two other brand ambassadors today, and they will be sharing their experiences working in their specific ownership areas as well, the things that they've learned, the things that they've enjoyed, that sort of thing. So hopefully you'll find that interesting.
So back to my working day. Today I had a lot of business as usual, so this was analysing how our attraction events had been going, what the attendance was like, and looking through all the feedback that students had given us, and creating an action plan to improve the events in the future. I also had quite a few meetings today with different teams. So I had a meeting with employer brand about our social media strategy now that Milk Crown has closed. So we were brainstorming ways to keep up our brand presence during the so-called off-season. So this is when our applications aren't open. At some point in the morning, I like to take a break and practice some mindfulness.
The greatest gift we can offer another person is to allow them to be who they are.
Sometimes it's really easy to just get stuck in your work, which might feel productive but isn't sustainable. You're working on autopilot. So I always really appreciate this time to ground myself, to focus and to reset.
So now it's the afternoon and I've just had my lunch, and I've scheduled in a meeting with two of my lovely colleagues, Anna and Grace. And together we're going to chat a little bit more about what it's like to be a brand ambassador, what we've learned from the role, what we've enjoyed about it, and things like that. So hopefully you can get a little bit more insight as to what it's like to work at Newton.
Hi, I'm Grace. I am a brand ambassador. I went to Durham University and I studied maths, and I'm starting as a consultant in January.
I'm Anna. I studied chemical engineering at the University of Edinburgh, and I'm going to be joining as a consultant in January next year as well.
So all three of us work on the attraction side of graduate recruitment, and as I mentioned before, my ownership area has been in society sponsorships and presentation evenings and employer brand. Before I started this job, I would never have known all the different things that happen behind the scenes in graduate recruitment, and these are the areas that Anna and Grace have been working on.
So I've been working with job boards to send out the comms regarding our applications. I also have been working with the Social Mobility Foundation to give disadvantaged students a help during our application process to make sure they're not caught out because of any disadvantages in their background.
I have been in charge of our offer holder engagement, so this has involved coordinating our new buddy process, where consultants are linked up with offer holders to provide support, and I've also been organising an offer holder review day and offer holder boxes, which are presents which we give to people who have offers to join Newton.
I think the brand ambassador role has given me a great insight into the company, and I've learned a lot about Newton, especially the intangible things like culture or who to go to about things that I just wouldn't have known otherwise. We actually get a lot of contact with the consultants, so it's been great to chat with them and just learn more about the job and the projects that they've been working on, and it really takes away the mystery and sort of unknown before we have to experience induction ourselves.
I think being a BA has really given me confidence in my abilities that I had never really stretched or tried beforehand. So things like really simple things like sending emails or just speaking to people over the phone. All of these skills that you never really practice at university, you just get a chance to practice. Having practiced at them beforehand just takes that out of the pressure of induction, and instead of worrying about little things that don't matter, you can really focus on the big challenges.
I think because we've all been given quite a lot of autonomy over our ownership areas as well, that's really helped to build confidence, because you're given a piece of work and it's fully yours to coordinate and manage, which has been really amazing.
I feel like I have a much better grasp on what skills will be valued when we eventually become consultants.
One thing that we really didn't expect when coming into the brand ambassador role was how much of the full Newton experience we'd be getting, especially while working virtually. So for example, feedback culture is huge at Newton. It's really core to its identity. We have feedback sessions with our line managers once or twice a week, and we give each other as a group feedback in our quick feedback or speedback sessions. And I can see through the company-wide events that I've been to that this is kind of a central value that is kept throughout the whole company. For example, when someone is coming up to speak at an event or something, they will first ask for someone else in the company to volunteer to give them feedback at the end. So I think this just really shows how much kind of importance is put on feedback, and I think that's really great in a company. Another example is how we, even as brand ambassadors, were taught a lot about the core Newton methodologies which are used in the consulting line of work.
The fact that you can use these methodologies, which the consultants are applying in the public, private and ALS sectors in graduate recruitment, I thought was so interesting. Trying to figure out how to stop people from dropping out of selection days. How can you approach that as part of a wider process problem?
I'm really glad that I've done the brand ambassador role, and I think there's definitely a lot that I can take away from this. Whether that's the workplace skills like Grace mentioned before, the demystifying of the role of the consultant, and maybe most importantly, the people that I've met at Newton. I've worked alongside such a great team as a brand ambassador, and it's so great to know that these will be future colleagues. And through the job, I've met so many consultants. So I already have some sort of network at the company before I joined, which is really valuable.
In each induction group, there's about 6 grads total. And if you think you'll get really close with those grads because everyone is so nice at Newton and you're spending 4 weeks intensely together during induction. But if you've been a brand ambassador, I think there's been about 12 to 15 of us in the graduate recruitment team. And that's just expanded your circle threefold even before you've even started, which I think is really cool.
The ability to chat to consultants has really sort of demystified the consultant world as well. Yeah. I think when I go into induction, I'll be a lot less nervous because I've already met a load of these people and I know that they're just normal people who are just really fun and friendly, instead of just having that extra bit of pressure.
On that note, it was really great chatting to both Anna and Grace about their role as a brand ambassador. Thank you so much for giving me a little bit of your time, and good luck with your inductions.
Then, one of my last tasks of the day was to film a little video that would be sent around to the consultants, giving them instructions about how to film videos for the company website. Usually we'd have professional videographers who would help us to make marketing assets for things such as the website, but of course everyone is working remotely at the moment, so the video I filmed should hopefully help the consultants to be able to record themselves at home. It was a really beautiful day today, so I went for a walk by the river during my afternoon break. While working from home, it's so easy to spend all day sat behind the desk, so we've been really encouraged to go out for walks or exercise during the day. A few times a week we'll even have meetings that have been marked out as walking meetings, so audio only, which really helps to make sure that we have time during the week to get outside. One thing that the grad team came up with that was really fun was the team walking challenge. So as a team we wanted to walk the distance from Oxford, which is where the head office of Newton is, to Ireland because that's where a member of the team was from. So we had bonuses for different things we did, other forms of exercise also counted for different amounts, and it was just a really great way to get people outside. At the end of the working day, twice a week, I'll have what we call Washup with my team. So this is similar to Monday morning kickoff. We go around the group and everyone will talk about what they've achieved so far that week and what their next tasks are. This is also when anyone will flag if they have any excess capacity or if they need to offload some tasks to other people. So this is also where some reshuffling of work sometimes happens too. And with that is the end of my day in the life as a brand ambassador. I want to thank everyone on the graduate recruitment team for such a lovely past few months, and I can't wait to start as a consultant soon.